Good morning, everyone. This is Shelby from Selkie Botanicals here at the Mugwort Manor in Seattle. It is a beautiful October morning. We finally have blue skies after having so much smoke and bad air quality from the wildfires, so it's really nice to breathe some fresh, clean air. Yeah, I haven't done a video because this is one of the busiest times of the year for a gardener, herbalist, aromatherapist, all that good stuff. I've been busy harvesting, canning, distilling. It's been busy, but a lot of fun. Just wanted today share some duties or activities to do in the garden to prepare for autumn before it gets too cold while we still have the sun and the warmth. So first of all, you might notice that this garden bed is a little oddly shaped. We did that on purpose. To start, if you have an aerial bird's eye view, you can kind of see that this creates a loop. And then this creates a loop. And same with this one, a loop. This under focal point. We created a triple spiral. The triple spiral can mean many things. It can mean body, spirit, mind, mother, maiden, crone, right? The number 3 is a lot of different symbolisms. And yeah, I've always been in love with the triple spiral for many reasons, but you also may notice that it's just not a typical garden bed, and that is also on purpose, because this actually catches heat from the sun, and then that heat is dispersed throughout the garden bed. It's also a permaculture method. With a round thing, you have way more surface area, a lot more to cover rather than a square or a rectangle. So we have a lot more garden actually. And it's rather cool because when you are in this sunspot, and you're turning the bed or working, you don't have to go all the way around. I just stand in one place and I'm able to get to the whole bed. So that's pretty cool. Working smarter, not harder, right? Anyways, as you can see, there's a woodpecker behind me. Let's see if you can capture it. Right there. Can you see that? Sorry. This little guy is very active. Getting all the bugs. It's fun. Yep. Lots of bug getting. That's good. It's very good. Okay, so I'm showing you what we planted in this bed. What do you plant in the fall? Oh. Birds just flew over my head. So we have radish. That's what all these tiny bits are, and I've transplanted some of them, but I'll need to kind of transplant more so that there's room for everyone to grow. And then haven't really seen them pop up yet, but here there is heirloom parsnips, and then the next here is heirloom beets, and then here we have leeks that should be popping up. Yes, there are other things other than what I just said, such as lots of calendula, Lots of calendula. All this. We have peas popping up. Okay, bunch of peas. Here's a chard popping up. Let's see. Yep. And here is kale. I think that's either the curly kale or the Russian kale. We shall see. And so, yeah. Radishes, beets, parsnips, leeks, those are all really good autumn crops to start growing. Another thing, there are a bunch of volunteer starts, but this entire half of the bed is full of garlic. So we save our biggest garlic heads, we break them up into the little cloves, and then we pop them in about 2 to 3 inches deep, space them about 6 inches apart, and then they'll be ready to harvest next late springish. The tops kind of fall down. You can plant garlic in the spring for an autumn harvest, or you can plant in the autumn for about a late spring harvest. So that's what we got there. So that's kind of what you can start planting in the fall. Another topic I want to talk about is soil compost. So you can see we have quite a few pots here, even more over here. See, these are all of our potatoes and squash and sugar pumpkins that we just harvested because it's just getting too wet while it's still warm. So they're all just time to harvest. But yeah, so we have all these pots, and look at all the soil that's in the pots. It's a lot of soil. And it is depleted soil because it's given its nutrients to whatever plants are in there, right? So we don't want to just throw them in the compost. We worked hard to put them in here and make it, we worked hard getting all these soil in the pots and spent money and time and all that good stuff. So instead of putting it in the compost or just dumping it somewhere, we're going to put them back in the garden beds. But to make it fertile soil again, we add our rabbit compost. We add our cured chicken compost. We also have a compost tumbler that we constantly are adding stuff to and building it up with our vegetables veggie scraps, that is. So yeah, we have not done anything to this bed quite yet, other than dump some of the pots in here. We need to harvest the carrots, harvest some more of the pole beans, and then this bed will be ready to turn and add some of the, all of the starts that are in there, transplant them in here. I think I'm gonna get a fig tree this week or so and pop it in here. It needs something. I had a evergreen huckleberry, did not love it, so I'm gonna try a fig tree. So that's what you can do with leftover potted soil. Compost wise, if you don't have chickens or rabbits to make compost from, or you don't have a compost tumbler, here are some of our dry or cold compost heaps here and here on the either side of our Italian lilac. So all of the clippings and cuttings and things that we just didn't give to the chickens because they have enough that they're poking around on right now, we toss them here, and then by next year everything will kind of compact and break down, compost, and it'll be good soil. So we'll take this soil and we'll add it to our garden beds next spring, and you can always buy some worm compost or any kind of compost, and toss it in here and add it then to the garden bed. So that's compost. And let's talk about some seed saving, right? Because it's definitely seed saving time. Here I popped out some from this pole bean. So this is a bit too green. It's too big to eat, the whole thing, but the beans on the inside, those are good. Those are good to eat still. I'd eat those. But then these beans, you find these yellow ones hanging off, and you pop them open, and then you get these, right? And so these are nice and hard. They're already getting dried out. And I've been saving these for the last month at least. Every time I see a yellow pod, I'll pop it open and I'll grab some of the seeds. And once you pop out the seeds, then you want to put them in a paper bag, label it, date it. Pole bean 2020, that's all I do for labeling. And I let it sit in the paper bag, dark, cool, dry area for about 2 weeks. After about 2 weeks, then it's ready to put in your seed library. And again, make sure it's dated and labeled so you know what the heck you're doing next year. Otherwise, you think you're gonna remember, you don't. You never do. I never do. Most people don't. If you do, good for you. Here's another example. So this one, moldy, right? We'll just pop it open. We'll see what we got, if I can with one hand. Yeah, so that looks good. That looks good. There's no mold. I'd save it. Much easier with 2 hands. Yep. That's a good little bean. So yeah, you're looking for these kind of colors, and that's how you know it's time to save the seeds. So that's pole beans. If you want to save your carrot seeds, that's a 2-year process. So you can, of course, harvest your carrots right now. They're nice and juicy and fresh and sweet and crisp. Or you can let them go another year. They will overwinter. They'll get real tall, about 2-3 feet. And then the head will look like, if anyone knows what a Queen Anne's lace plant is, they look similar to that, but there are identifying differences that you can learn about online or books or whatnot. And it's kind of like an umbrella head that the carrot has. And then next summer, when that carrot head gets really dried out, then you pop off all the seeds, and then you wait till the following spring to then plant those seeds. So it's a whole process. I've done it before. It works. These carrots are actually from seeds that I saved. So that's kind of cool. Yeah, they're doing pretty good. Let's see what else kind of seeds. I did a video on calendula already. It's really easy. I'll do it real quick. So calendula, beautiful flower, very medicinal for the skin. Once the petals fall off, you get this green head. The green head then turns to this brown head. You're able to pop it off. Okay, and those are all seeds. And you can, calendula, I planted these years ago. And I have not needed to save any seeds because I'll let them fall. And there you go. they are now going to be, there's going to be a calendula plant right there. But if you're not like me and you don't want just volunteer plants popping up everywhere, then you can pop these in a paper bag, label it, date it, dry, cool place for a few weeks, and until they are officially dry and there's no mold. Then you can put it in your seed library and put them in the delicately placed areas that you so choose next spring. And that is why, see, doing that, just letting them fall, that is how I get so many volunteers in this plant, in this bed, because there was a bunch of chard, there was a bunch of kale, there were parsnips, they were all, it was, actually, I take that back. The parsnips were not going to seed, but the peas, they dropped. So yeah, that's how I get so much goodies popping up. This is lemongrass that I really hacked back, and they'll just pop right back up. Sorry, this is not lemongrass, this is lemon balm. And yeah, lemon balm is in the mint family, so mint is fairly vigorous. It will take over a garden bed. And so I put it in this small one. Nasturtium. Here's my happy nasturtium. Really beautiful flowers, and the leaves are edible. Peppery flavor, but good in a salad. These are the seeds. Once the flower falls off, here comes the seeds. Again, you can let them fall if you're in a temperate area. They will most likely reseed themselves. Otherwise, you will need to save the seed and then plant the following spring. Here's another fall crop. This garden bed, again, we dumped a lot of the old pot soil into this bed, and then we fed it with nutrients with our veggie compost, our rabbit and our chicken compost. So we got lovage. These are all celery. These 4 I got from the farmer's market, and I just, chopped it here. I saved the base that usually you just toss in the compost. I stuck it in a little cup of water for a few weeks, changed the water every day, and it just started anew. These little leaves started popping out, roots started coming out the bottom, so I was like, cool, awesome, and I popped it in the garden, and they're doing really well. So, chives. This is a cool, wet bed, so that's why I put these things in here, because they don't mind too much shade. They do like sun, but they don't mind the shade. Chives, I've harvested about a week ago, and it's like to the quick I harvested it, and it's already, boom, popped back up. Same with this one. We've made a lot of chive butter this year, and it's been really yummy with our eggs every morning. Yep, chives is another good one. And I'll show you the polytunnel here. So the difference between a polytunnel and a greenhouse is usually glass, polytunnel, plastic, yeah? Tomatoes, they're out of control. We had over 100 tomatoes this year, so it's been interesting dealing with them all. Anywho, here's our polytunnel. We had so many tomatoes in here. They did really great, especially in here. This is about 15, maybe 20 feet tall. They were to the top and then coming over. It was pretty awesome. So to save tomato seeds, because tomatoes, they aren't annual. They are not a perennial. Like you can see, we chopped them off here. And we're gonna, again, take out the soil, put nutrients back in it, and then feed it to the garden. But tomatoes, so this is how, here's a tomato. Yep, here's the seeds, all that yummy gelatinous stuff. You can use a little sieve or fine mesh strainer, and you can get the gelatinous bits out. And then you can put the tomato seeds on a paper plate or a kitchen towel or a napkin. Let them dry out, and then you just kind of flick them off, pick them off, and put them in a paper bag, label them, date them, and then they are ready to harvest next year. I have also just let all the seeds fall, and I've had good results with them being volunteer plants as well. Pretty cool. But you can also be more diligent with saving the seeds. But that's how you save tomato seeds. Really easy, right? Over here, more nasturtium. But this is our lovage that went to seed. We had a few lovages. This is the last lovage that we still have that is to seed. It got 15 feet tall and it fell over. Lovage is very similar to celery, though it is a lot more potent and strong, peppery, spicy even. But it already gave us beautiful leaves. We've been juicing it all year. And then it went to flower, and here are the seeds. They're kind of like these umbrella. Can you see that? Umbrella-like seeds. But here I go, I'm just pulling them off, really, and there they are. There's all those little itty bitty seeds. So you can cook with these, you can grind them up, make a little paste, you can save them, you can let them self-seed, and there I'll have a bunch of lovage seeds popping up, or plants popping up, or you can harvest them, put them in a paper bag, label, date it, let it sit in the paper bag for a couple weeks, and then put it in your seed library for next year for planting. This is a cucumber melon, real cute, not very much harvesting. They get a little bit bigger. It's a, cucumber melon. They got to be about the size of my thumb. And they look like a mini watermelon, but they taste like a cucumber. Really cute. I don't think they had enough support this year. We were a bit overwhelmed with getting everything done, but that's okay. There's always next year. And this rat's nest, this is chard. So it's already given us beautiful leaves, and we've been, making zaya, which is a Croatian dish. It's gone to flower, and now here are the seeds, okay? So, boom. There's the seeds. Again, seed save, put them in a paper bag, label, date it, let it sit for a couple weeks, and then put it in your seed library for next year. Or you can drop them, and I'll have a bunch of chard. I already have a bunch of chard, so what's with a little bit more, right? Anyways, here's my mugwort wall. All of this. I brought this seed back, some seeds back from Ireland, and my spouse and I have heritage from Ireland, but we just have a deep connection with Ireland and the Celtic culture. Mugwort in European culture is a very protective plant. I don't use smudging because that is a First Peoples term that I don't feel comfortable with using. So usually I will turn them into herbal wands, which then I'll do another video on that another time. But I'll turn them into a herbal wand, and I'll light them, and I'll use them as incense to cleanse a room or a space or a house or even outside, as protection, cleansing, clearing properties. It used to be known as sailor's tobacco because sailors would smoke it, and it would actually help with seasickness. It's good for the belly, like if you've eaten a fatty meal or you're just like bloated. It's a good tea, and it'll help with digestion. It also makes a uterus more slippery, therefore inducing a menstrual cycle. It also is magically, it is known for lucid dreaming. It can help increase lucid dreams. It can, dreams. We call it mugwort manor. Why? Because we have so much mugwort. It's insane. Like, I'll show ya. That's mugwort. That's mugwort. That's mugwort. Mugwort. Here we go. Here we go. Wait for it. More mugwort. I want to show you this mugwort. Well, oh, there's some more. There's some more. More mugwort. I want to show you this one because it's real happy and real pretty. This is mugwort. So it's kind of a pretty green, and then when it gets older it kind of is more silvery on the bottom. It has these unique leaves. But yeah, lots of mugwort. This is my fairy tree. It's a hawthorn tree. In Ireland, if there's a standalone hawthorn tree in a field, which there are many fields in Ireland, they will leave it. They will not cut it down because that's where the fairies dance on the full moon, is around the hawthorn trees. So it's a bit wild. I think I'm gonna prune it. I transplanted it from a park, and there's a rose actually popping up out of here. So I hope this video helped you kind of figure out what you want to plant in your garden beds, what to do with leftover soil, how to save seeds. It's a busy time for gardeners. Well, I hope everybody has a beautiful day. If you want to learn more about me or the products that I make, aromatherapy products that is, you can check out my website at Selkie Botanicals.net. Thank you.